Also, I don't think we talked about the fact that this summer I rewatched all 3 Blade movies. And I feel like I should get some praise for that.
I talk about it all the time to people. I tell everybody.
That I rewatched all 3 this summer. You know, they're not giving out any awards, but they should for that type of dedication. All right, let's talk. Let's talk about Twisters. I have some thoughts.
Here we are, and welcome to a twisty edition of the Friday Night Movie Podcast, because today Becky and I are going to talk about summer blockbuster, Glenn Powell vehicle, Twisters. Beck, we both saw Twisters. I've actually seen it twice now. I saw it in the theater.
You saw
and then
it
we
twice?
watched it on vacation with Allie's family, which is a big deal because
it's a huge deal. They don't watch movies.
No, they don't watch movies. On vacation, especially, which is like the opposite of what I do on vacation.
Because
I watched 5 movies that
Did
week.
it feel like sciencey and educational? So they wanted to watch it?
There was just somehow half the people had already seen it, which was interesting. But the kids were the right age to see it. And so it was like the right beach vacation, gather everybody around the TV to watch the movie.
I did not get the impression from you when you saw it the first time that for you, this was a rewatchable movie. So I'm surprised that you rewatched it. In your opinion, it didn't sound, you didn't leave that theater giving me, you said, oh, it was a lot of fun, but you didn't give me the impression that this was going to be like your Fall Guy, the way you and your family watched Fall Guy like 17 times.
I did a lot of other things while watching this movie, and keeping one eye on it was totally fine on the rewatch. This definitely is not like a major rewatch for me. But it didn't bother me much. It was just kind of there, and I like certain elements of it, and certain elements I enjoyed more. And I think part of it is that I really love the cast of this movie, and so the cast of this movie is quite
more Kiernan Shipka. There was not enough of her.
Well, unless somehow she survived the opening of the movie, or she just went flying somewhere and they found her, or she's in Oz maybe. she's great. But I love Ramos and I love Glenn Powell, and Daisy Edgar Jones was great, even with her mystery accent.
With her, I mean, listen, I'm a fan of hers. I love the show Normal People. I've probably seen it all the way through twice. She's fantastic. She's so good. This is like a very particular character, like American wise. And I'm just watching the movie going, she's great. I do like her, but like, why in this case, like there were no they didn't think there was a single American actress for the part. I'm just thinking accent wise, because here's what it is. Here's how I rationalize the accent. I rationalize the accent as she's someone who probably has her character probably has a really strong local accent from whatever, where she's supposed to be from, like Oklahoma or Arkansas. But
she's supposed to be hiding her accent.
Right. So then I assume the reason why the accent is so inconsistent throughout the movie is because she's hiding it at various points. Like she wants to sound more New York so people don't know where she's really from, but then when she really reveals herself, you get her very strong accent. Because it's not
her first rodeo.
Right.
The rodeo that she goes to is not her first rodeo.
Literally not her first rodeo. And so I'm like, no, this is Daisy Edgar Jones being a really great actress with her accent work, because she can change it so much during the movie, not that it's a British person doing really particular American accents. And like sometimes it's, I think it's working, and other times I also feel like I know people from Oklahoma and they don't really sound like that. I don't know.
Well, they sound maybe like Maura Tierney's character.
Maybe, right. Where, yeah, exactly. Where it felt like a little bit like an Oklahoma accent for foreigners to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's as long as it sounds vaguely Texan.
But
people
then,
think it's
okay,
from
so now if we're
Oklahoma.
going to talk about like text and X, that's one of the great charms of Glenn Powell, right? Is how he can like turn that up and turn that down in a McConaughey kind of way.
Now, but just back to Daisy Edgar Jones, it's a little confusing because do you know that she is not the person who is in Daisy Jones and the Six? That's
That
Riley Keough.
That vaguely sounds correct to me. Daisy Edgar Jones is not Daisy Jones. Which
Daisy
and don't
Edgar
you feel
Jones
like
is not
that casting? That casting would have made so much sense because then it's only one name to remember.
Yeah, but I in my mind, the name of that show now is Daisy Edgar Jones and the Six.
And the Six. Which is just, again, that would be easier.
Not Riley Keough.
No, but I don't want to sound like I'm being, I feel like I sound like I'm being a bit snarky, but I think I think she's great. And
she's good. The accent stuff is weird, but you're not the only person to talk about the accent.
But then
is strange in that.
The accent is strange, but that could just be like the character who's
so
hiding
the way I rationalize it is she's hiding her accent.
Right.
Because she was so traumatized by her time and doesn't want to answer questions about that time. So people think she's from the big city, although the real confusing part is Anthony Ramos is presumably from Oklahoma in this, but he sounds like he's from New York. Nobody's talking to him like he's from New York. Everybody's talking to him like he's from Oklahoma. He's reminding people like this is where he's from.
The mysteries of movie making.
Now,
but he's great. He's so great, and I like his character is not so straightforward. I thought that was,
Oh yeah,
it's a great like little
reverse twist.
It's not like a twist, but it definitely makes the story much more interesting.
Yeah, they don't really go like super deep into them profiteering off of the.
But enough that you get that what they're doing is not altruistic. Like they're not,
Yeah. Although I think it was in Honest Trailers, they made a comment about how the guys offering people money for uninsurable houses actually is maybe a nice. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So Twisters. Let's start well before Twisters. Let's start at the original Twister.
Well, there's just one.
The original Twister. Helen Hunt. And Bill Paxton. Harry, no one knows how to pronounce his last name. Ellis.
He's in the original Twister?
Isn't he the bad guy?
I need to rewatch
He's the guy
it.
that
love Carrie Oles.
He's the guy that the pole goes through the car and impales his head, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I just remember the cow that goes flying. That was so exciting.
Okay, right? That's the first thing anybody has asked me about Twisters. And they say, when I say no flying cow, people are like, what the hell?
Flying cow, that was the biggest part of the trailer.
The flying cow is on the poster. It's on the poster now.
That's probably the biggest, most exciting. That was very exciting CG back then to have a flying cow.
Oh, yeah, because that movie's from 96, so it's a little bit after Jurassic Park. That flying cow was a big deal.
I don't know if you remember this, but that same year, or within that year of the movie coming out, we did a family trip to Universal Studios where they had a Twister movie experience where you'd go to a fake sound stage with a green screen and they would show you how they do special effects for a movie. And I was selected from the audience to go up on this fake green screen and pretend I was in a Twister or an earthquake
I don't
or something.
Remember
and I'm shaking around and I have to do my best acting to pretending I'm shaking around. And then they superimpose on the green screen, whatever the Twister stuff is, and it was so exciting.
I don't remember. Did they close the ride after you did acting in it, though?
Because my acting was so bad. No. They were actually this person should become a filmmaker, and they anointed me and said, this is now your path.
Now, I really like the cast of the old movie, but now I'm just going to read you who was in the of the new movie. And in my mind, the old movie, I didn't remember it, but listen to some of the people that were in this. Okay, so Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton, Jamie Gertz, Carrie Elwes, Philip Seymour Hoffman as one of the guys in the car, scientist buddies. Alan Ruck. That's pretty, There's some pretty
But it was so great. Helen Hunt.
Jeremy
was so
Davies.
Great. Oh, Jeremy Davies.
You got some real serious. You got some really Anthony Rapp, right? Jake Busey. You had some serious.
Jake Busey was definitely in Twister.
Now maybe in Twisters, we'll be talking in a few years, and one of these people is the Jake Busey of this movie.
No, but Twisters already has that's a pretty all-star cast with Glenn Powell and Anthony Ramos.
Yeah, they didn't spend as much on the side characters, but any of those people could end up being super famous. Okay, so the original Twister, you remember the cow. I remember Carrie Ellis's face getting...
No, I remember the cow. I remember the little silver balls they have to release into the Twister to geomap the Twister. I don't really remember.
And then that's it.
Something sciencey.
And then I don't remember anything else of that movie. I don't even remember. I guess they mapped the Twister at the end.
But isn't the line
a lot
about...
of good that did.
Isn't the line about, we got twins? Isn't that, from the first movie? Then it's, a repeated bit in the second one?
Oh, I thought we got twins was just, the way Alien...
No, the way it splits, the Twister becomes two, or there's
don't remember
two going at the
anything
same
about
time.
that movie.
I think that's a bit from the first movie, but I might be superimposing new memories onto old ones. But that's what I think. But it makes me want to rewatch it.
Well, okay, you go rewatch it. You tell me how it is. Okay, so let's talk about Twisters. Let's talk about... Okay, so in this one, they're mapping Twisters, but with a new technology. At the beginning, they're using
mapping
the balls.
There's two different things going on.
You're right. There's the guys riding the Twisters.
Three different things. There's the guys riding the Twisters for YouTube likes.
And selling granola bars.
No, T-shirts and
T-shirts so they can buy granola bars.
Yeah, so they can help people who are devastated by the Twisters. Then there's the science tech guys who are trying to map them, which seems to be the same thing from the first one, but it's just better mapping. So that they can understand.
Their goal is not scientific, it's to understand weather patterns so they can buy houses.
No, so they know where to develop. So it's people don't want to spend money developing homes where there's going to be, a higher likelihood of these. So it's something to do with real estate development, but there's a science angle to it because the science would help many industries, but it's being backed by these real estate developers. And then there's Daisy Edgar Jones's secret science plan, which doesn't come to play until later, which is releasing diapers into Twisters. I mean, that's what she's doing.
Is that what she's doing?
Well, it's that's how they explain it. So she's trying to stop a Twister in its tracks.
They say the word diaper in that movie?
I'm pretty sure. So what she's trying to stop a tornado in its tracks by breaking it down. And her science that she's invented is she releases into the air. Yeah, she releases into the air the same substance that is in diapers that absorbs baby pee, I guess. And then it's going to absorb the moisture and stop the tornado.
I mean, look, I'm for stopping tornadoes, but nobody thinks that, don't diapers never biodegrade?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And then they're you can't release enough. So they have to come up with another substance that's going to supercharge them or break down the water molecules different. I feel this science, and I mean this
but they
in the
talk
best
about it
way
so
possible.
Much. There's so much science.
I feel that the science for this script was written by ChatGPT. It also doesn't matter because that's
what I want to say about it is
not watching the movie because you're realistically looking for a solution of how to stop a Twister.
Right. But they do spend a lot of time. Do you think that was a note? Someone was like, "Hey, people want to know it's believable that you guys are killing tornadoes." So, and I give it to Glenn Powell, who's so good because when he sang all those lines as if he's a PhD in meteorology. I believe that character knows what he's talking about.
I believe he's a cowboy meteorologist. And then I'm
he might as well have been given Klingon to pronounce, but he was very convincing.
Sells it. See, that's the thing about Glenn Powell. He's charming and he sells it. And that's what you need for these types of action movies,
So here's another question. Was there really a love triangle happening between the three
I don't think there's a
people?
love triangle at all. I think she and Anthony Ramos have their like it's just like a best friend history, a
But he
closeness.
wanted
I
to
don't
hang
think
out
there's
with her at night.
Oh, I didn't take it in a room. You know what? You saw it twice, so you would know better than I do. But I just thought it was more like like
Like
them
close
reconcile.
friends.
Yeah,
Because his best friend was killed in the
yeah,
tornado.
like their
also.
mutual best friend. I just see it as like they're estranged best friends, and he's like trying to repair that friendship.
And use her
So
tornado whisperer ways.
the two things, like, listen, this is the note coming from my husband, where I would say if there's someone who does not prioritize like a romance story or like the romantic aspect of a story when you're like in these types of movies, that's Vlad. That's not the part he cares about. But even he walked away from the movie being like, that needed to be a little more romantic. That needed to be a little sexy.
No,
Like,
I see.
he was
I'm the
like,
other way. I like it. Leave it
I
on.
sort of feel like you're gonna give me Glenn Powell, and you're not gonna like have that follow through. But I also don't feel like it needed it. I will say that. Like, it
I
didn't.
like that it's just hinted at. Not every movie has to get,
Yeah,
like,
there
also
was
after
because
you
there's been a
go
lot
through
of
something like
because there's
that.
been a lot of controversy about there not being a kiss in the movie, and apparently it was shot, but then it didn't make the final cut. So therefore I'm assuming had it been in the movie, it wouldn't have worked well. So better to not have it out. Better to have it out and have people asking for it than put it in and have it like feel forced or jammed.
And then you can make twisters where the
Twisters
E is a 3.
Twisters is Twisters.
No, where the E is a 3.
Yeah, where they got it. I love that. Oh my God, I love that. And so for that, once I knew that they shot a kiss and didn't cut it in, I was fine with there being no kiss. It was when that moment where I was like, so they just didn't film, that wasn't in the script. Other things I'm disappointed about. Clearly, Paul Scheer had some very comedic scenes that got cut for time.
I think they brought him in for a cameo just at the end as a reference, as an Easter egg to how did this get made.
Okay, fine, but I think
just that. Oh, you think he was at the airport earlier in the movie?
I think there's supposed to be a scene between him and Glenn Powell arguing about the truck, about him parking the truck there, that got like cut for time because then in the end he puts his stakes in. And
if they do a sequel,
they can bring Paul Scheer.
I assume I'm assuming
they are
fighting a tornado while in an airplane. Paul Scheer's character has to get on the plane from the airport.
Sure.
And then the three of them and Paul Scheer fighting a tornado? I would like Paul Scheer to be on. I would like Paul Scheer to be on their team.
Third thing I'd like to talk about that clearly didn't make the cut of the film. Oh my God, I had no idea. I have this whole like director's cut wish list.
Imaginary headcanon of this movie. Of things that don't exist.
Third thing that was clearly left like on the editing room floor is, I believe, Glenn Powell's like story about his childhood and the childhood tornado, I think has a lot more trauma that's supposed to be part of his backstory, because 2 times when they're being like attacked by the tornadoes, there's like 2 crazy tornado scenes. Once when they hide it by the pool, and then once in like the theater, you could see him like having a panic attack. Like he looks like he's freaking out, which feels very out of step with the rest of his character. And I'm like, ooh, there's something here they didn't have time to unpack. There's a lot more backstory. So I would like a sequel, because I'm like, what's your emotional baggage? How are you going to get through this?
His flashback of him in college when his friends got blown away.
I don't need his flashback, but I definitely feel like there's a lot more depth to his character of him like because they have these like couple of really intense close-up shots of him like freaking out.
I mean, he has to have lost a few of his buddies.
Right. There must be more story there. So I'm seeing like 3 pretty glaring things that were left on the cutting room floor, which are fine as long as you're using it as setup for the sequel where we're going to get those pieces.
So 2 things I really like about this movie. Number 1, I really enjoy how they found a way to keep Glenn Powell injured at the end and Anthony Ramos staying back with him so that she went out alone to fight the tornado by herself. That I thought was awesome. I was like, this is great. She should be the one to do it alone. And I just never expected that once they paying the Glenn Powell money that they would have anything but Glenn Powell be the one riding into the tornado with her, maybe, or the two of them together. But they gave it to her, which was great. And the other thing is, I do like that they show the human effects. I don't remember the first movie, but I feel like the emphasis on how this impacts people was a good thing, and it made me like Glenn Powell's YouTube Maniacs quite a lot. Okay, with a very short amount of time, because we have a short amount of time this week, what would you pitch for a sequel? I pitched my sequel. It's on a plane. They're fighting a twister. Paul Scheer's in the plane with them.
No, I think now you have...
And it's 3 twisters.
Now you have a new team you need a new team with new goals, right?
Don't use the same characters?
No. It's like the amalgamation of the teams. Like you're gonna have Daisy Edgar-Jones and Glenn Powell for sure. You might have one of his like loose cannons. I don't know that they're necessarily working with Anthony Ramos and any of the science people. I don't know. More diaper production? What could the next one be about? If it's not about like Sharknadoes or fighting tornadoes from airplanes, that I am not sure what it could be about.
I think it's more the scenario that they're in. That's what I was saying, is just like, let them put them in a situation where they don't have access to their tornado killing machines.
Oh, cool. And they have to like fight the tornado.
That's what I'm saying. Like put them in it'd have to be a different type of movie, but put them in an airplane, Yeah,
but I don't like when sequels do that. I don't like when all of a sudden the sequel is too detached from the first one.
Okay.
But I like the idea. I like the idea of them having to fight or study or do something with tornadoes without any of their equipment.
Okay. So then here's my other 2 potential.
Just an umbrella.
Another one is there's a team of terrorists creating tornadoes. So they've learned how to destroy a tornado.
They're weaponizing
and now they're
tornadoes.
weaponizing tornadoes.
They're
which
sending
again,
piranhas out through the tornadoes.
Seems like an anathema to this franchise. But yeah, exactly. Like they're not Sharknadoes, but they're creating them and something like that. There's another one where it could be that, again, we look at the environmental effects of throwing diaper polymers into the air, and now they have to. Now it's like in that movie.
Now they need to create a tornado to clean up all the diaper. That movie, because let me tell you, a diaper once exploded in my washing machine, and I thought we were going to have to throw the whole.
When
thing
a diaper gets filled with water, that's crazy. It gives like 40 pounds, and it's all bulbous. But there's that movie Envy, I think it's called, with Jack Black and Ben Stiller, where they get the spray that makes the poop disappear. And
what?
Yeah, where does the poop go? And then the big reveal at the end of the movie is all these animals start dying because what it's doing is it's putting all the poop in the atmosphere and it's killing all the animals.
Oh, I've never seen that movie. Are you sure that's not one of your weird dreams? That's a real movie?
Yeah, it's with Ben Stiller and Jack Black. I'm pretty sure.
Well, never heard of it.
It's like a play on.
Very weird.
It's not. I wouldn't qualify it as like. It's got an interesting concept. It's got some interesting concept. I wouldn't say it's a movie that like I loved, but it doesn't. I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes, but it does have an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Thanks to me.
So it could be like, where do the tornadoes go?
Okay, but let's just say I do recommend Twisters. I think it was really fun. We watched it at home on our big TV, and the whole time, honestly, what we were thinking was this would be crazy fun on a big screen.
Super fun in the theater.
Like, I'm sad I missed it on the big screen.
I wish I had seen it on 4DX. That's the exact, or whatever that thing is, where the sheets shake and they spray you with mist. I would have loved that. I love the cast. I want to see another movie.
It's a ride.
And really I say this as someone who, natural disaster movies are not my thing. And I can't even say I love the Twister movies, but I'm on board for more. And I'd like to see these guys keep making them. All right, Beck. You have any recs before we run?
You know what? Not for anything new, because I'm waiting for a bunch of shows and things to start. So okay. I've been rewatching a lot of old stuff. I finally showed my kids Strictly Ballroom. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. I'm so happy to finally share it with them. So now when I watch it every year, I can watch it with them. So that I'm going to recommend going back and watch that oldie and goodie. Holds up. Still holds up.
I have been going back and looking for a lot of movies from the 70s, and I rewatched The French Connection, and I'm most of the way through French Connection 2. There's a sequel to The French Connection 2. Talk about a movie that changes approaches. We can talk about that another time. I won't actually talk about it on this podcast unless someone wants to. And then I'm going back a tribute to Dad. I'm watching this British mystery show called Foyle's War on Acorn about this.
I love that show.
Oh, it's really good slow burn mysteries. Very British, very relaxing. Okay, well, love you. I'm sure Lil will be back soon. And
I know she's somewhere in the jungles of Costa Rica.
Talk to you later. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Friday Night Movie, the sibling rivalry and pop culture podcast. Join the Friday Night Movie family by following @FriNightMovie on all of the socials and visiting our website, FriNightMovie.com. Our theme song is by What Does It Eat? And make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.